Alrighty, welcome back. So now let's talk about what makes the world go round, and that is sales. And specifically in this video, we're going to talk about conversion mechanisms and campaigns. And oh my God, that sounds weird and techie, but it's not actually. The purpose of this video is really to demystify everything and to make the process of selling stuff actually quite simple, because it is. The good news is, actually, this entire video is really a giant conglomeration of good news. So our first bit of good news is you've really only got two things that you use to sell stuff. Thing one is what I mentioned earlier, conversion mechanisms. Now, that's just a fancy way of saying the things where you actually ask for the money. You know, that's going to be a sales letter or VSL or something like that. So we call those conversion mechanisms. Now, thing two is campaigns. And campaigns are just the things that allow you to present the conversion mechanisms in a cool way. So let me go a little deeper on this and really make it easy. Part of my job is to combat overwhelm and the feeling of stuckedness that might occur. So we're going to do that right now for sure. So let's talk about these conversion mechanisms. Sounds fancy, really, nothing to it. Great news. There's only 3 of them. Here they are. First one is webinars. These could be live webinars, hybrid webinars, pre-recorded webinars, and they could also be live group presentations where you're selling from the stage. It's the same thing, by the way. A webinar is no different than a live sales presentation done from stage. The only difference is you're using PowerPoint and they don't see you. You're talking into your laptop microphone. That's all. It's the only difference. Okay? The other conversion mechanism is going to be VSLs, video sales letters. Of course, the staple of online information sales. You've seen millions of them. The reason why everybody uses them is because they work real well. And of course, number 3 is good old-fashioned sales letters. In this case, sales letters stuck on a website. And guess what? That's all. Those are the only 3 things we really use in the information business to sell stuff. Webinars, VSLs, and sales letters. All right, so now let's talk about campaigns. Well, great news. Once again, there's really only 3 campaign structures. The first one is webinars, right? So you could do automated webinars where everything's recorded. You could do hybrid webinars where most of the webinar is recorded and you're just showing up live at the end. Or you could do 100% live webinars. Either way, it's the same thing. It's you talking into a microphone over some PowerPoint slides. The end. And there's a structure for it. I'll show you the structure. The second campaign is launches. And launches aren't what you usually think of. You could do automated launches, which is what I prefer to do, or you could do the live launches, which is what you see most people doing. I think automated launches are better, and I think they're more profitable, and I'll show you how to do both of them. But we'll put a particularly strong focus on automated launches, because part of the appeal of having an information business is you're not having to really work in the grind so much. So either one of those will work, but still, it's the same campaign. Whether it's automated or live, it's still one campaign structure. And the next and final is a straight offer sequence. And that's where you say, hey, I got this thing for sale. Here it is. And guess what? Those are really the only campaign structures that we use in any of the information businesses and any of the 5 different product types or any of the marketing formulas. They're all going to use some variation of those 3, which is great. You know what else is great? There's only 4 web pages that we use in the information business. So our first one is an opt-in page or a registration page. So the only difference is an opt-in page is where they opt in to get a lead magnet or something. A registration page is where they're registering to attend a webinar. Same page. It's just a page where they can enter their name and email address, right? We just call them different things. They serve different purposes, but mechanically, exact same page. The next one is going to be the sales page. That's just a sales letter or a VSL stuck on a web page. That's it. The next one's going to be a content page. So, if you're doing like an automated launch or whatever, well, where you stick those videos or you teaching people how to do cool stuff and say, hey, we're opening soon. That's just a simple type of web page called a content page. Very, very easy. And by the way, you know what a webinar is? Well, it's a content page. Or one could argue it's a sales page. Either way, it's the same thing. It's just basically a video on a page. And a little buy button appears at a certain point in time, especially if you're automating the webinar. And the 4th page, of course, is the order page. And that's it. Those are the only 4 web pages we've got in the entire information business. So that's pretty simple, right? So you got 3 different things that we use to sell stuff. We got 3 different campaign structures, and we got a grand total of 4 types of web pages, which is pretty cool. So all the numbers I've shown you earlier, well, that was all used with just this simple little bit of stuff here. So now let's show you something. So I want to illustrate this. Ignore that blue bar down there at the bottom. I'll show you that in a minute. I'm going to take the most complicated marketing formula that we have, which is the Ascension formula, and I'm going to simplify it by just illustrating really what it's actually made of, right? And so we'll do digital marketers. So you begin with an opt-in, right? So that's an opt-in page. That's pretty simple. And then, of course, the next thing we have is a liquidator. Now, again, this is the Ascension type of a formula for marketing. So the next web page we have is a liquidator. Well, guess what that is? Then we have a continuity upsell, right? Then we have bread and butter upsell. So we're going through all 5 of the product types here. Then we have the modulated course, right? And then we have the big ticket offer. Well, let's take a look at what this really is. The opt-in page is, of course, an opt-in page. So we know that's one of the 4 types. The liquidator offer right there, well, that's just a sales page. Nothing more. Continuity upsell. Of course, the sales page has an order form on it. Continuity upsell, sales page, exact same type of page. We're just sticking different content on it. Bread and butter upsells, sales page, exact same type of web page. We're just putting a different sales message on there. Modulated course, well, that's where this blue box comes in. See, now we're getting into a campaign. That's what these blue box represents. So in this case, with Digital Marketer, what they typically do to offer their modulated course, which if you remember, and the example we used was their product called The Machine. Well, that modulated course is sold using something called an automated launch. And in this case, the automated launch has content pages. Those are the pages with the pre-launch videos on them, right? So there's 3 of those, exact same web page structure, just different videos stuck on each page, right? Then there's a sales page, and then there's an order form. That's the whole thing right there. And then, of course, the big ticket, well, that's usually done with a webinar. So the webinar has an opt-in page, which in this case is really a registration page. And then there's a content sales page, right? And that's just the webinar page. So you can call it a sales page. You can call it a content page. Either way, it's a video that has a buy button on it eventually. And then, of course, there is an order form. So there's 3 total web pages in there, which is awesome. So let's have a look, really, all right? So let's actually see the pages. So if you remember, we went through their Ascension funnel. Well, here's the opt-in page, right? Boom. Here is the sales page for the liquidator offer. Here's the sales page for the trial offer, which gets you into their continuity. That's just a VSL stuck on a web page. Here is the sales page for the first upsell, right, which is to get you to become a full-fledged member instead of a trial member. Guess what? That's a sales page. All it is a VSL on a page, right? Well, here's the next page for their bread and butter upsell offer. Oh, guess what? That's a video on a page. That's just a sales page. So we've got 2 types of web pages so far. We have an opt-in page and we have 4 different sales pages. It's exactly the same type of page, just different content. Now, finally, in the Machine, that's supported by a video sales letter. That's a sales page. And of course, that whole campaign, you've got some content pages as well. And the War Room thing is either sold from a webinar or typically we sell it from stage at like a live event like Traffic and Conversion. So here's the thing. All of this is great news because there's really nowhere for us to get overwhelmed. You see, this entire business is run off of 5 product types max, right? I mean, that's if you want to go hog wild crazy and use all 5 of them. The most type of products we can have is 5, and that's if we're just real overachievers. A lot of people just have 1. We have 4 marketing formulas max, right? We have ascending, we have descending, right? We have linear, and we have cycling. That's all. Those are the 4 formulas, right? We have 3 conversion mechanisms max. We got VSLs, we got sales letters, and we got webinars. That's it. Those are the 3 big things we use to sell stuff in terms of actual ways in which we ask for the money. And we have 3 campaign types, right? We have automated launches or live. We have automated webinars or live. And then we have just straight offer, right? And so that's it. And then we have 4 web pages max: opt-in, content, sales, order. That's it. So all of this stuff about the information business, which seems like this is like all these millions and millions of moving parts, it's really not. It's really just like, that's it. What you see on the screen here is all we have. But here's even better news. So first of all the web pages, all 4 of those pages are based on templates. The great news number 2 is all the campaigns, they're based on templates. Great news number 3 is all the conversion mechanisms like video sales letters and webinars and actual sales letters, those are based on templates. And you know what the best news is of all? You're getting all of the templates. So all the emails and all the campaigns, those are based on templates. And yes, I'm giving you all of the templates in this class for all of this stuff. So everything should really be fairly cookie cutter for you in terms of the mechanics, right? So we're really not going to experience overwhelm in this class. So if you'll follow along with me, and you'll just take it one step at a time and not jump ahead and not get freaked out, I'm telling you, I've built this thing so it is really very, very paint by numbers. I've stripped it down to the bare essentials so you won't get freaked out. As a matter of fact, you don't even really need that many tools. So let's talk about the tools. Well, first of all, you need a web host, obviously. I don't even want to count that as a tool, but I'm going to list it because, if you don't have one, you're in trouble. I use WP Engine because I do a lot of stuff on WordPress, as I'm going to show you how to do. And it's pretty good. I think their cheapest one is $27 or $47 a month. But boy, are they good, and they're very fast. So that matters. Next thing you need, kind of a duh here, is you need a merchant account. You need a way to accept money. So there are 3 options I would recommend. One is Stripe. You've probably heard of them. Very simple to set up with. The next is PowerPay. That's who I use. That's Platinum Payment Solutions. I'll put a little link in here for you. The next are the guys that Infusionsoft is teamed up with. So if you don't have anything and you want to have it all in-house, we're going to use Infusionsoft anyway so they can actually provide you with the merchant account. And that's kind of obvious. We need both of those 2 things. So technically, we're not going to count those as tools, but I'm going to list them anyway just in case you're super new. You got to have that stuff. All right? So the next thing we need is a website builder. Well, I'm going to show you how to do everything in OptimizePress. The templates that I'm using now, I have had custom made and I'm giving them to you so you don't have to build anything from scratch. So that's going to make your job really, really easy. We're going to need an automation system. I'm going to recommend you use Infusionsoft. I'm going to teach you how to do everything in Infusionsoft in this class. Now, you might have heard that Infusionsoft is confusing. It has the nickname Confusionsoft. And you know what? All of that is true if you don't follow the directions. But you know what? The directions are kind of a pain in the ass. So guess what I've done? I've simplified the entire thing. So I'm going to give you very easy to understand Infusionsoft how-to, because as information business owners, we only have to use about 95% of Infusionsoft features and capabilities. So that's where you're going to get confused, is trying to use we only need to use 5%. You're going to get confused if you try to use the other 95% of the stuff we don't need. So I'm going to give you full Infusionsoft training within this class. And guess what? You might have also heard that Infusionsoft was expensive, and you might have heard that it comes with an expensive setup fee. Well, it does. Unless, of course, you're a customer and client of mine. If you don't have Infusionsoft, you can get it through my office. We're certified partners, and we can waive the entire setup fee for you because you are a student in this class. So congratulations, and you're welcome. Just another perk of working with us over here. So we're happy to do that. If you need Infusionsoft, I'll walk you through how to get it through us so you don't have to pay the setup fee later on in this class. The final thing we're going to need is video hosting, because we're going to be making some videos, and you can use YouTube, which is free. And if you want to get real fancy, you can use Wistia. They cost a little bit of money, but kind of a negligible amount, and they enable you to do some fancy stuff. And one optional tool is something called PlusThis. That's a plugin for Infusionsoft. And if you want to do super hardcore automation, like super hardcore automated webinars and all kinds of really, really cool tracking and, all kinds of like heavy duty automation, we'll use PlusThis, and that is a whopping, I think it might be $3 a day for PlusThis, so it's relatively inexpensive. But that's it, right? So this entire business is run completely just with those little things I told you about. 3 campaign strategies, 3 total conversion mechanisms, 4 types of web pages, 5 max types of products, 4 max types of campaign or marketing formulas, right? So really, really very, very simple. So in the next video, we're almost done with this module, by the way. In the next video, I'm going to give you the framework that is going to be used to create all 5 of our products. Now, you don't need to create all 5. I'm going to show you how to make all 5, but please don't feel like you have to create all 5. You certainly don't, right? You can get by with just 1, like Rich does, or 2, or you can have an entire suite. It's really up to you. So, with that said, I enjoyed this video. I'll see you in the next video where I walk you through the framework for creating all products, no matter which category you're in. I'll see you in a sec.